I am blown away, overwhelmed, at peace. So happy, but also I really want to share and express my love. It's like living in the perfect moment, not wanting it to go, knowing it will and should and has to end, and having no camera, way with words, or way of properly capturing the moment. I'm talking about the final shape. Welcome everyone to another Embrace Destiny video. Kaz PhD here. Today is my overdue, least scripted attempt at sharing my love for Destiny's conclusion to the Light Dark saga, the final shape. As always, if you wish to read and run, the full video transcript is attached below. I am thankful for your company either way. When I say least scripted, I mean I always work with a script, but I'm really trying to write as purely from the heart as possible. I'm not a spontaneous person. I'm not good at expressing my feelings without some type of structure or analysis, but today is my attempt. The final shape was everything I wanted and everything I needed. It truly was the conclusion of this 10-year journey. It stuck the landing, gave me every moment I had secretly asked for, closed the chapter, but left hope for the future. Yeah, I said it. The campaign was a love letter to Destiny, to the fans. Placing the story within the Traveler was a stroke of brilliance, a place we had all fought for so long and could finally go. To use the mystical location to reimagine and remind players of the journey we had been on, I mean, it's perfect. A finale should remind you of the journeys, and just the single idea alone of a location that was changing to suit our thoughts and memories was a perfect way of paying tribute to all that came before. The story was intimate and took its time, for the most part. Destiny's campaigns have been guilty of rushing or glossing over things, moving quickly to action, leaving details and characterization more to the lore and our imagination. But the final shape slowed some of it down, panned into our characters, and actually took the time to have heart-to-hearts. Sitting at the camp, I felt like I truly belonged. The Guardian is often so highly praised and celebrated, but I usually look to the others for inspiration. To see Ikora, Cade, and Zavala reunite was something I didn't realize I needed. To see them hug so quickly, move past so much history and drama and pain, was a testament to their love, their relationship, and felt like a burden I didn't realize I carried was removed. Sitting at the camp, listening to their stories, hearing their concerns, their pain, their conviction, even though my character didn't say much, it felt really good to be included. I know most people see the Guardian as, well, the Guardian, but it was just really nice to be in on this inner circle of leaders. God. Reuniting with Cade. I didn't get the harmonica cutscene the first time, but even without it, and especially with it, just absolutely perfect. Who the hell throws a harmonica to use as a distraction? And the sound design following it through the air? On point. God bless Nathan Fillion. He's just so natural, so suited, so comfortable in the role, and I really, really appreciated his characterization here. He was silly, but for a reason. He was serious, but lighthearted. Wise, but bold. Obviously a favorite for all, but just seeing him back, at the end, as he was at the beginning, really carried a lot of weight. Speaking of Zavala. Keith David. What a challenge. Imagine stepping into any role, following in the footsteps of any actor. I know it happens all the time, but I'm sure it's always a challenge. How do you do it justice? How do you make it your own while respecting the foundation? Honestly, it felt like an impossible task, especially for a character like Zavala. So much weight, so much gravitas. And this expansion really focused on him. When I heard about Keith David's casting, I had no doubts. I thought it was the perfect choice. But I still thought it would be impossible. However, I was impressed. surprised and satisfied for the most part. I've seen a lot of people comment on the uncanny valley nature of it all, of hearing Keith but mentally hearing Lance. But I think that's just natural. Lance was loved by the community and part of it for so long. Still, Keith did an amazing job. Perfect service to the character, and I felt like I could hear them both. Rallying, falling, struggling, rebuilding, and surviving. While we're here, Zavala's journey. Man, I was worried. The trailer had me worried. I have a rather simplistic view on certain character types, certain stories. I know that a simple story often isn't as good or entertaining as the next, that it may not be interesting to see a stoic character resist temptation, but I was really worried that the final shape would either go down a road that disrespected the character, or that the trials would be enough to break the character. I know I'm rambling here, but hear me out. I didn't lose faith in the narrative team, but I felt like both of those worries I had here could work together to make Zavala go down a path that seemed reasonable based on his heartbreak, but would accidentally disrespect the character and lessons he imparted over the rest of his time in Destiny. Does that make sense? Like, it's considered boring for the White Knight to stay true, but to turn speaks too much of cynicism and discredits the original character I loved and cheered on. But hey, for the most part, I was pleasantly surprised. I know people think Zavala acted strangely. Fun fact, even Destinypedia's synopsis of the plot says so explicitly. But I think it's fair. Of all the people tempted, Zavala's trauma was the most easily targeted. Who did Ikora lose, exactly? And Crow. With Cade back, a lot of old hurts are healed or helped, but Zavala's grief was opened anew. Yeah, it was odd to see Zavala become desperate, hopeless, even hostile, but he was the main focus of the Witness's attacks, so I cut him some slack. Hard to live through, but it all came around again. Meeting and losing Tarj was tough. I don't have much more to say on that, and it's a trope within Destiny's story that I don't really like, but the writing and voice acting were on point. And narratively, I think it was all really well done to raise the stakes, highlight the villainy, and force character progression. The Last City. I could, and I may, if I have more time, make an entire video on this, but I absolutely love how much of the city we got with this expansion. The opening and closing cutscenes showing life, the mentions and inclusion of all of our allies and factions. It really means a lot to me. I like knowing what we're fighting for, who we're fighting for, and seeing the people safe, happy, and thriving thanks to our heroism. For the first time in a long time, I truly felt like the hero of the city, and felt like the world of Destiny was growing, prosperous, and united. A place I belonged to and lived in rather than a matte painting I could never reach. This is a part where I'm actually going off script. I'll let you know right now. I just had a funny feeling, funny thought. A lot of the things that are developed in Destiny, like the Last City and the Elixir Quarter and stuff like that, they are made, and then due to a lack of time or resources or interest, they are kept the same for a very long time. And I find it kind of funny to think that the whole premise of the final shape was making the universe into a single unchanging configuration. Whereas my biggest problem with the city and the Elixir Quarter is that it is an unchanging configuration. Is that weird? I don't know. Anyway, it was really nice to see those areas. It was nice to see that they were at risk. It helped, again, kind of ground the stakes for me. And I love being a part of the Last City, and I really hope we can see more in any form. Alright, back to the script. I'm really happy about the campaign, post-campaign, raid, post-raid, and how that timeline played out. I've always had issues with the raid race, one particular reason being that it felt annoying that the Guardians who weren't or couldn't participate felt like we were just unimportant and sitting on the sidelines. I've always celebrated and wished for more ways to contribute. Like during Shadowkeep, while the raiders were mounting an offensive into the Black Garden, the rest of us were holding back the Vex incursions on the moon. It felt good to work together, even if I wasn't raiding. Or like during the Taken King, where the physical threat of Oryx was dealt with during the campaign, and Oryx's true death was dealt with in the raid. So when I heard that the Edge of Salvation raid was going to be essential to the story of the final shape, I put my chin in my hands and sighed. Color me pleasantly surprised when the raid, while incredibly important, was just one piece of the final push. The campaign established that Witness could be harmed, the tireless effort of the raid racers made a deeper and critical cut, and the final excision mission ended the Witness once and for all. How to sum up my feelings here? I could also make an entire video on excision. Will I? I don't know. Maybe. I hope. I was in-game when it happened, when the excision node popped up for the first time. Just hanging out in the Pale Heart, talking about the campaign with one of my closest friends, and I saw it. I was so excited. I invited him in, and we raced off. We were probably some of the first to get in there. And it was perfect. Just so perfectly perfect. The rally at the gates, the endgame moment, the crowd of allies followed by a 12-person event, chaos and determination in full force. Then our allies join us once more. Saint's Everlasting Shield, Nimbus, Mithrax, Shax, even Savathun, so many more, all joining, giving their all. It was exactly what we've all wanted for so long. Channeling the Traveler through our ghost, one final push. Then, our ghost drops, the hammer falls, the price paid. I was devastated. I mean, statistically, I thought it was really cool how Ghost's damage that was sustained during the campaign persisted to the tower as well. A nice piece of world continuity. But I was, of course, sad. Even during this, I knew our Ghost wouldn't stay that way. It didn't really feel right. I've long theorized that Guardians will eventually learn to channel the light without a Ghost, just as we do the dark. Adopt the lesson we learned during Beyond Light, but I also imagine that when that happened, we'd keep Ghost by our side, because they're our friend. But it still hurt. And then the appeal to the Traveler, and once again, silence. I have a bone to pick there, but this is not the video for it. Finally, Cade comes into view. Before I go there, I'll just say kudos to the cinematographer or the cinematography team who put the earlier cutscenes together. The vision from the Traveler featuring the astronaut and the one when Cade connected with the Traveler. A lot of really interesting visuals and storytelling done in montages of imagery, sound, and music. Anyway, I knew what was going to happen. As soon as Ghost said Cade was made of light in the beginning of the campaign, I knew he was going to give his light to someone. I thought Crow. I thought Tarj. I didn't expect us. I love Cade. I really do, and I know his brief return and then departure upset some people. But kudos again to the writers and team for taking the time to explore Cade's feelings on the matter. The man they called Cade Lorebook from Forsaken helped provide closure, helped us realize that Cade didn't want to stick around past his time. Several times throughout the final shape, he tells us the same thing, and it helps set the stage. With Controller, I mean Ghost, in my hands, tears in my eyes, I watched Cade make the ultimate sacrifice. I'm not much of a crier, and that's not really a macho thing, it's just what I said in the beginning about processing my feelings. But I cried there. It was the perfect realization of a moment, the culmination of so much. And I'm crying while writing this, and likely as I'm reading it to you now. That's true. It was so beautiful, and to hear a line of defiance about making your own fate, used in the trailer, then turned into a gift, an act of love. That's just so Destiny to me. So much more to say on the following scenes. Watching the Traveler, seeing Crow become the Hunter Vanguard, celebrating with Ikora, Crow, and Zavala, the lanterns in the city, but I'll come to the end of this video soon. Oh, before I do, I wish the wildcard mission was replayable. My recording didn't work, and I wish to experience it again and again. It was a wonderful little adventure, and seeing the growth in Crow, his confidence, his ability to relax while staying serious, getting closure with Cade, passing the torch, putting a lot of terrible takes and toxicity to rest by seeing these two hunters become friends. Again, it was pure destiny. It's been said a lot, especially this last week. I probably put 5,000 likes on Twitter this week alone for all the love shared over Destiny in the final shape. But like those lanterns in the city, I'll add mine. I loved the final shape. I loved everything from the environments, the music, the design of the Pale Heart, to the pacing, encounters, mechanics of the missions. I love the characters and the time taken to explore their motivations, the impact of the story, the acting, the locations, everything. I love that the campaign was a full circle, but one that showed progress and growth. It wasn't a nostalgia trip. The D1 Tower was back, but different, changed. I loved being a hero to the people. I loved seeing our allies. I loved that everyone felt a part of this. I am overfilled with love for this game, this community, and the developers who put so much effort into a game that brings so many people together. A game that, more often than not, progressively pushes forward, has something to say, and inspires more hope than cynicism. To all the Bungie devs, past and present, thank you so very much. Thank you for your effort, your patience, your commitment to greater things, your love, your passion, and hard work. Thank you for listening, for being fans too, for trying your best. Thank you for hearing us and doing everything you could to make this story, this expansion, this finale, a culmination of lessons learned, experience shared, love, growth, and memory formed over the last decade. Real life, business, social media, even dealing with content creators and opinions, all of it can be quite challenging, I'm sure. Sometimes extremely so. But hopefully your fans, us, the community, and the company itself, hopefully these too inspire more hope than cynicism. To the community, especially the part I'm more closely connected to, my stream, my Discord, my interactions online, but especially all of you here and now. Thank you too. In the last year, I've tried to make sure I don't lean too hard on one game, one hobby, but it's tough when that hobby is Destiny, one that brought me to all of you. I love Destiny, and I love you. I love what this community, these devs, and this game can do together. What we inspire from each other. I've never seen anything like it. A single thing that spawns so much creativity and joy and patience and love. It spawns dark times too, but hopefully we're all learning to be better, to move forward together. Thank you everyone for being here, listening to me go on, supporting me, and for any light you have ever shared in the Destiny community. I can't believe the Light Dark Saga is over. I can't believe Bungie stuck the landing here. And I can't believe how far we've come. The future is out there. The journey continues. And no matter how much or how little you participated in the story, you are still here. And that is very special. Hopefully this deluge of emotions in this video will help me say the part that needed saying, while also allowing me to move to more thorough, organized, insightful reflection in future videos. That's the hope, if time will allow. If you like what you've heard today, come back again soon. In the meantime, I'll wrap up. Thank you all. As always, I ask that you be safe, be kind, and I'll see you next time. Bye now.